How you doing, everybody? Welcome to another season and another episode of Marketing 911. I'm Chad Thibodeaux, and I'm going to be your coach today. So glad that you are here and tuning in. Today, what I want to do is I want to talk with you about the new rules for launching. Yes, absolutely, there are new rules. The other day I saw a Facebook post from a pretty famous marketer. Like, if I told you his name, you would definitely know it. And he said something that was quite surprising. He goes, "Launches are dead." Now, you have to take this with a grain of salt because this was in a campaign that he was doing. He was trying to sell something. But he comes out with this outlandish statement that said, marketing launches are dead. He said, funnels are obsolete. And he said, AI probably has already replaced everything we thought we knew. Okay. And he was trying to sell this AI thing that he was doing. But he wanted me to believe that launches are dead, funnels are obsolete, excuse me, and AI basically has replaced anything and everything that we know. And he was trying to tell us that AI is the new thought leader. And we're going to get into AI in another episode. But today, what I want to do is I want to focus on this idea, are launches actually dead? Okay. Because he went on to tell us that if we are not posting or making an offer, actually, is what he said. He goes, if you're not making an offer every single day, then you're going to disappear. Think about that. Literally coming online, sending an email, shooting text messages, doing automations, and making a statement that if you're not making an offer every single day, that you're going to disappear. And at first, when I first started watching his talk on this, I was like, that's pretty bold. But as he kept unraveling it, I'm like, it also sounds pretty desperate. And that's the kind of noise that I think is confusing smart people like you and I and causing us to get crushed in today's market because we believe that we just got to like put more and more and more and more and more and more out there, right? And it's sort of like, taking the shotgun approach and like, if we can just scatter all this information, then, maybe something's going to stick and maybe one day, things are going to happen. But I don't know. I don't think that's the kind of message that we need today. And so I started digging in. I've been digging in the last several months, looking at pretty successful people, looking at what's working for them, what's not working for them, and I've come up with what I think is some pretty good information that if I were you, I'd grab a pencil and piece of paper and I'd write this down because I think that it's going to help you. But the first thing that you have to know is launches are not dead. Okay. Launches are not dead. Bad launches are, but launches are not dead. Funnels are not obsolete. Lazy funnels are, but funnels are not obsolete. An AI, no, it's not replacing you. Okay, it's not replacing you. Okay, the truth is that it won't replace thought leaders. It will just accelerate good thought leaders, is what it does. I remember a few years ago, well, probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't know how long TurboTax has been out, but I remember a good buddy of mine was a CPA, and Intuit had just launched their brand new software called TurboTax, where people like you and I were going to be able to do our own taxes. And this guy was so freaked out. He's like, "Man, I don't know if I'm going to have a job anymore." He goes, "If you can just push a couple buttons, enter a couple numbers, and all of a sudden you can do your own taxes. What do we need a CPA for?" And I didn't know what I was talking about, honestly, back then. I was just trying to help him out a little bit. But I told him, it's not going to replace you. It's actually going to quadruple your business because now you could do taxes 4, 5, 6 times faster. Because at the end of the day, professionals don't want to be CPAs. They don't want to do their own taxes. But if you can do 4, 5, 6 times the volume that you used to do, you're going to quadruple, 5x your business because you can charge the same amount of money or maybe even more money to do their taxes using this software. But yet you can take on 4, 5, 6 amount of clients because now what it's done is it has expanded your capacity. And that's exactly what AI has done. AI is not going to replace coaches. AI is not going to replace thought leaders because the average human in the world doesn't know how to use AI correctly, and they don't want to learn how to use AI correctly. They want to still pay you to do what you do and pay me to do what I do. But because of AI, we can now do what we do better. We can now do what we do faster. And we actually have the potential to accelerate our profits, not slow it down because of AI. And I want you to know that because what I'm going to be breaking down today is a real operating system that you're going to need in your business. And if you're going to try to launch in this new era, then you're going to have to get into it. But there's a couple things you have to know, okay? Okay, a couple things you have to know. The world has really shifted a couple times, okay? So many people are trying to launch like it's 2019. Okay, before COVID, launching was getting difficult, but it still was relatively easy. But post COVID introduced the world to video trainings, just like I'm on right now. Okay, all of a sudden it was only the select few who could afford studios like this and afford equipment like this, and we didn't even know what Zoom was. Okay, and then COVID came, everything went to online learning, and everybody became an online expert, right? All the meetings moved from boardrooms to online versions like this. And because of that, the market began getting incredibly saturated because so many people were online due to the pandemic back in 2019. So funnels that used to work no longer were working because one, they really weren't believable. Okay. They just weren't. They weren't believable. And a few years later, 2022 comes, the advent of ChatGPT. Now everybody has the ability to put out content. Everybody has the ability to put out information. Everybody has the ability to do some really cool stuff. On our next episode, I'm going to be bringing you behind the scenes of an AI platform, and I'm going to show you how to build a funnel in minutes without a designer. I'm going to show you some really, really cool stuff that you can do with a piece of software to be able to get your funnel up and running in minutes, not days, not months, not years, but in minutes. And you don't have to hire big wig designers to do it. I'm going to show you how to do this on the next episode of Marketing 911. But today, what I want to tell you is like because of 2019 of the COVID pandemic, everybody went online, and then with the advent of 2022, now everybody's got something to say. Everybody has access to really good information. Okay. And because of that, it continues to not only saturate the market, but make the market skeptical. And only those people who can break through the skepticism are actually going to be successful. So here are the new rules. Okay, here are the new rules. If you're gonna break in, okay, if you're gonna break in the market, if you're going to get past all of the stuff, and there's certain things that you're gonna have to do. So let me share my screen with you here, and let me just tell you that rule number one of launching in the post 2019 and post 22 eras, in the post pandemic and post AI eras, is number one is trust is the currency. That's it. Trust is the currency. It's not the old currency. It's not the new currency. It is the currency. Trust. Okay. Because trust isn't something you build before a launch. Trust is something that you bring into a launch. Okay. I want you to think about this. You don't build trust during a launch. You bring trust into the launch. And those of you who bring trust into a launch have no problem selling, okay? But those of you who are trying to use the launch as your trust builder, you're going to be left behind, okay? Because the launch doesn't create a trust, the launch reveals trust. And that's incredibly important for you to remember, okay? Rule number one is that trust is the currency. Okay, you have to know that. Okay, before anybody watches your webinar, before anybody reads your email, they've already made a decision whether they want to trust you or not. That's the fact of the matter. And what you have to know is that every touch point matters. Every post, every email, every DM, every interaction, it's building or breaking trust. So what that marketing guru said that I quoted at the beginning, where he said you have to make offers every single day or you're going to get left behind, I disagree with. You don't have to make an offer every day, but you do need to build trust as often as possible. And I'm going to show you in a little bit in rule number five how that's actually easier than you may think. But buyers in the post pandemic and post AI era, they don't move on promises, they move on proof. Okay. And you have to know that. They have to move on proof. If you've ever gone through my trainings and you've seen the 12-step strategic operation process that I teach, you know that step one is person. You have to know your ideal client avatar. Step number two, you know, is a problem, that everybody has a practical problem. Step number three is pain, that it manifests itself in emotional pain. Step number four is position, like why are you the right person? Step number five is promise, where you're going to make them a promise that you discover something, you learn something, and if they just listen to you and apply it, it's going to be a promise. Step number six, I think I'm right now, and the six is the product. Oh, excuse me, the pathway. Step number 7 is the product, and step number 8 is the proof. Okay. And my old 12-step process, proof was number 8. Well, what I'm telling you in the new way of launching, proof is now becomes number 1. Proof becomes number 1. It's no longer number 8, it's number 1. Proof is where it's at. Okay, real results shared naturally is where it's at. Okay, this is why it was interesting. I was watching a fitness instructor not too long ago, and she was sharing some real results that she got for a client. Okay, and it was really funny because this client only lost 3 pounds from the time they started working together till now. 3 pounds. But it was so real and so authentic the way that she presented this that I wanted to hire her to be my fitness coach because it was believable. It was real. Here was a lady who had gained weight month after month after month after month for 4 consecutive years. And the first month they worked together, she reversed that trend and she lost 3 pounds. Not 30 pounds, 3 pounds. But it sounded so real and it was shared so naturally that I believed it. See, that's trust. Another rule, not another rule, but another concept of trust as a currency is you have to be able to show authority without bragging. You have to be able to show authority without bragging. And what I mean by that is that when you teach something like this, you're proving that you are an expert on a particular topic. You're not bragging. You're not saying, "Look at me, look at me, look at me." You're simply helping. Okay, you're simply helping. Some of you need to fire ChatGPT. Okay, some of you need to fire ChatGPT. I have here, and I'm not going to show you the text on camera because it would reveal something. But this is a 3-page document that one of my high end clients gave me a few months ago about her program, and she was so excited about this because she and ChatGPT sat down for hours and hours and hours and created this. And she put it in my hand, and she was so excited. And she goes, "Can you? What do you think? What do you think?" And I looked at it and I said, I said, without being a jerk, I said, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. And she was crushed. And I said, no, don't be too disheartened by that. The reason why it's one of the worst things I've ever seen is I can tell that ChatGPT created 100% of this. And you're better. You're way better. When you just speak from your heart and you just talk, you're way better. So some of you need to do that because your authority isn't coming through as authentic. You're saying words that aren't normal to you or natural to you. Okay? When you post on social media, I can tell you're using GPT and I scroll right past it. So you need to be able to show authority without bragging. Okay? So that means be authentic with your words. Okay? That means stop putting every other person in the world down. Show up with authenticity, and just watch what happens. The third thing under trust as currency is you have to be consistent when nobody's looking. You have to be consistent when nobody's looking. So I've been on a little bit of a fitness journey here over the um, last several months. And 1 month before I turned 50, I made it a decision that in the month of 50, or excuse me, in the year of 50, the number on the scale was going to be another number besides 2. It was going to be a 3 or a 1, okay? And I wasn't going to let it be 3, so it was going to be a 1. And I had a lot of weight to lose. And so on August 1st, 2024, I got on a scale and I was 247.5 pounds, literally a half a pound from being as large as I'd ever been in my life. Okay. Fortunately, I've never seen the scale hit 250, but I have seen it hit 249. Okay. And so I saw it hit 248.5. And I was devastated, frustrated. And I'm like, God, I got to lose 50 pounds in year 50. How in the world am I going to do that? And so I got really, really, really focused and I got on the carnivore diet. and I started just losing weight like a lot, and I felt good. I looked good. I could run good. I had no inflammation. I had no pain. Like I stopped snoring. Everything was like going great. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then my mom got really sick and went to Belize with the whole family, right before she passed. And I hadn't drank alcohol in forever. I hadn't eaten a carb in, in 2 months. And I went from 248.5 all the way down to 213 pounds in just 2 months. I'm like, God, this is going to be great. And I was on track. I was losing 17 pounds a month, and I was on track by Christmas to have broken the 200-pound barrier that I hadn't been under 200 pounds since college. And I was on track by Christmas to do that. My mom gets sick, and I go to Belize, and I broke it. Okay, I broke it. I drank beer, and I started eating carbs. I'm like, oh, that's not a big deal, whatever. But I began getting addicted to that stuff, and I started putting the weight back on. I didn't gain it all back, but I gained a lot of it back. And I remember watching Dr. Gary Brecka, and he made a quote that just hit me. And he made a quote about bad eating. And he said something to the effect that dieting and exercise don't only work in public. No, what he said, he goes, diet and exercise do not work in public, they only work in private. And it hit me that it's what you do when nobody's looking that makes the ultimate difference, not just in your relationship, not just in dieting, not just in exercise, but also in launching. And you've got to learn to be consistent because trust happens when nobody is looking. In my business, when I build a lot of trust with my clients, is because I'm doing a lot of work when nobody's looking. When I lose trust with my clients, it's because I'm lazy when nobody's looking. And that's rule number one. I spend a lot of time on that because it really is the big rule. Trust is the new currency. And when you build trust early, you don't have to convince people later. You open the door and the right people are already standing there. Okay. So I want you to write this down and remember this. Trust is not a feature of your business, it's the foundation of your business. If you skip it, everything else cracks. Trust is the currency. Trust is the currency. Okay. You have to remember that. So if you're going to launch and you're going to launch successful in 2025, you have to remember that trust is the currency. Now let's move on. Rule number two. Rule number two. Pressure over promotion. Okay. Pressure over promotion. Now, what I mean by that is it used to be that everybody used to respond to noise. Okay. Now they don't respond to noise. Now they respond to momentum. Okay. Now it's not about how much, it's about one thing and doing it properly. Promotion pushes people, pressure pulls people. You create pressure by building real movement before your offer drops. And so you have to begin showing real momentum that is happening because people want to jump on that bandwagon. Okay. You have to make people feel like they're getting in late, not early. One of my favorite marketers and former clients, her name is Marley Jacks. And Marley and Steven are getting married. And they're doing something that's really, really interesting. In fact, I've never seen this before. I think it's clever. I really hope it works. Okay. And one of the things that they're doing is they're hosting a wedding, but they're going to charge you to come to their wedding. For real. That's not a joke. They're actually going to charge you to come to their wedding. They're going to treat it like an event. It's a 3-day event. They've got everything all planned out. It's awesome. There's VIP seats, there's general admission, but they're charging you for their wedding, and they're doing everything backwards like you should be doing in the wedding industry. And I love it. Okay, and what they're doing leading up to it is they're doing some things that makes you feel like if you wait until the day of the wedding to get your ticket to come to the wedding, you've already missed the boat. You've already missed it. And they're beginning to add so much value to relationships and coaching and marketing. They're adding so much value that if you wait till that day, you really feel like you will have missed out. And that's called pressure over promotion. So they're not promoting, saying come into my wedding. What they're doing is they're letting the energy build naturally They're not giving you fake urgency, but they're adding so much value that you feel like if you don't get in, if you're not an early bird, you've already missed the boat. And I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing with that because promotion says, please come. Pressure says, don't miss it. Promotion says that, promotion says begging, okay? Pressure says gravity. It's a big difference because when you beg people to pay attention, you build noise. But when you put pressure on people, it creates gravity, creates that downward pull. And you have to do that. My buddy Akbar Sheikh is a great marketer, and we've done so many things together over the years. We really care for each other. And what's interesting about Akbar is honestly, he's a weird dude. He'll tell you that. He's one of the weirdest guys you'll ever meet in your life, but he's also one of the coolest guys you ever meet in your life. And when Akbar has these really great launches and promotions, um, it's sort of bucking the trend. And when he has failed launches, he throws a lot of money and does it like they tell you you're supposed to do it. Like he botches it and he's like, God, that was a waste of money. But one of the things that he does is he does proof incredibly well. Okay. And so he'll say, oh my gosh, I just got a text message from Jackie. She just had her first $1 million month. Why aren't you working with me again? Like that kind of stuff. And that's promotion. And I love that because it creates this gravitational pull that if you don't jump on his next launch, you feel like you're going to be missing out. And that's pressure over promotion. And so what I want you to write down with rule number 2 is smart launches don't ask for attention, they command it through momentum. Okay. Smart launches don't ask for attention. They command it through momentum. Okay. One of the things that Akbar is doing that I'm really liking is he fired his social media agency and he hired a full-time videographer. And now this videographer is literally following him around everywhere and documenting exactly what he's doing through his particular day. And it's everything from eating to relating to being a dad to doing sales calls to dealing with disgruntled clients to selling new clients, following around. And what's really cool about what he's doing is because he um, is doing what we call pressure launches. You just want to be in and you're like, oh my god, I can do that. I can do that. I want to be a part of that. Okay, this makes a lot of sense to me. And he's not doing it through hype, and he's not doing it through through these NLP tactics. He's doing it by basically just showing you exactly what's happening. In our CAVU program, we teach you what's called an internal pressure launch, and I want you to remember this. Okay, an internal pressure launch is where you launch your product in beta mode. That means you're going to launch it ugly before it's done. But you launch it to people you already know, people who you've already built trust with, people who already think you're a pro. And what you do is you make it small and you make it intimate and you promote the heck out of it, not by uh, not by saying come, but you promote the heck out of it by saying, hey, here's what I found out, here's what I learned, can't wait to share this with you, this is going to be awesome. Okay, hey, I did this to Kathy and this is what happened to Kathy, I did this to Mark and this is what happened to Mark, I did this to John and here's what happened to John. Okay, listen, I can only help 4 people, and this isn't fake scarcity, it's real scarcity. I literally only have the capacity to help 4 of you, and here's what we're going to do. And see, that's promotion. Okay, and that's what you're looking for. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not saying promotion. Please forgive me, I didn't mean promotion. That's pressure. That's pressure. Okay, I can only help 4 people, but here's what I learned, I can do this. Okay, so it's not promotion you're looking for, it's pressure. And so that's what you're looking for, pressure. Okay, rule number 3. Rule number 3, and this is a big one, because this sort of goes against traditional marketing. Okay, premium first, downsell later. Okay, premium first, downsell later. Okay, premium buyers don't start with your freebie and climb up. Okay. What they do is premium buyers want to start from the top. In fact, I have an entire training that I call Start from the Top. Okay, that's the name of it. And what I tell people is when you're getting into launching, okay, don't start from the bottom. Let me see if I can show you what I mean by this. Okay, so let me go to my whiteboard. Okay, so on my whiteboard here, I'm going to show you. So like in the traditional marketing world, we create what's called a value ladder, right? You guys have seen this. Okay. Russell Brunson has taught this forever. This is not anything new. Most of you have seen a value ladder. Okay. And the idea is this, okay, that the more time or value, I'm sorry, I guess you can't see that. Okay. The more time or value that you offer, the more money it should cost. Okay. The more time or value that you offer, the more your product should cost. Okay. And so what you do is you come in here to this thing and you're like, okay, what I want to do then is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create, like what we call a lead magnet. Okay. This is something I'm going to use for free. And hopefully I can, get a bunch of people onto my list and then I can spam the heck out of that list and do some stuff. And then we've taught for years this thing called a tripwire. Okay, a tripwire is okay. I'm going to get these people. Okay, I'm going to get these people here that I gave something free to give me a little bit of money. Okay, because if I can get their credit card from them and get them to spend a little bit of money with me, then I've overcome the first psychological hurdle. And then, for years we taught, okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to upsell them into our core product. Okay, our core product. This is our baby. This is our course. This is our $3,000 coaching program. It's our core product. Okay. And then those people are going to ask, okay, well, what else do you have? What else do you have that could accelerate my results? So, and that's what we call the upsell, or we're going to upsell them. And then after adding all of this value, spending all of this time, one day, hopefully, and maybe we can sell them something high ticket. Okay, high ticket. So what we do is we put we for years we put people through this process. Okay, and then knowing that every step I take, okay, every step I take in this process, the percentages go way down to where just a fraction of people, will buy your high ticket. Well, what we know is premium people don't want to go through that process. The reason why they don't want to go through that process is it takes way too long. What premium people want to do is they want to start here. Okay, they want to start here. Okay, premium buyers don't start with your freebie and climb up. Okay, they decide fact based upon authority and clarity, and they start by buying your high ticket. Okay, because if you've done rule number one and rule number two right, where rule number one, which is trust, okay, trust is the currency. Rule number two, okay, it's pressure over promotion. Then what's going to happen is you're going to be speaking with your ideal premium client and they're going to want to come in. So you're going to lead with your highest transformation. You're going to lead with your highest transformation. And so you have to think as an expert, what is the highest level of transformation that I can get somebody? So if you're a fitness coach, what's the highest level of transformation I can get somebody? Okay. And so if your highest level of transformation that you can get somebody is you can get them sculpted, then you're going to lead with it. If your highest transformation is you can get them lean, then you're going to lead with it. If your highest transformation is you can take somebody obese and get them back, whatever it is, you're going to lead with your highest transformation, and then you're going to work backwards. Okay, because leading with low ticket offers trains people to think of you as low level. Okay, let the ones who can't afford premium self select into a smaller offer later, but don't make all of your leads purchase a high ticket offer after going through days and days and weeks and months of low ticket stuff that they really don't want. The reason is because if you lead with this and make them go up, they're not going to stick around. The market is too saturated. It's too saturated. And I'm seeing a lot of things like these 3-day challenges, 5-day challenges that are popping up everywhere. Okay. It's sort of like a new trend. I'm seeing this thing like communities come in everywhere. And I'm seeing this new trend. Okay. That comes in where it's these little things here. And I'm like, why are we doing that? It's not a good way to do it. Okay. It's not a good way to do it. The reason is because you are attracting low ticket or actually you're attracting low level people who only want a low ticket offer and there's not you don't have enough money to build wealth that way because it's going to cost you too much money to acquire a client. So if it costs you, let's say, $2,500 to acquire a client and you're only selling a $297 product, well, you're behind the eight ball. You've lost, you're bankrupt. You can't do that. You can't do that. But if you're leading with a high ticket item, and your cost of acquisition is $2,500, well, there's a lot of profit in there. But you're never going to get that if you're leading with low ticket and moving people up. You need to lead with high transformation, not high ticket, but high transformation, and invite people to join you there. And then if they can't afford it, then give them something else. Start from the top and work backwards. I've been teaching this for years. It's still true. It's still a great way to do marketing. And as I'm watching some of the most successful people in the industry do marketing, they're doing it this way. They're leading with the highest transformation and working backwards. Okay. So write this down. If your best offer doesn't show up first, your best buyers won't either. If your best offers don't show up first, your best buyers won't either. Okay. So lead with your best offer. If your best offer is your best offer should be correlated with your best transformation. And if your best transformation isn't there, then you're wasting your time and everybody else's time. It's not 2019 anymore. It's 2025. People don't want to waste time. And if they believe that they can get on ChatGPT and do something that you can do, they're not going to pay you for it. So lead with your best transformation. Don't lead with anything else. Okay. Rule number four. Rule number four. Okay. And this is a big one. Rule number four is personalization beats automation every time. Personalization beats automation every time. Automation is everywhere, and AI has only made automation more prevalent. Okay. Your spam email number is only going up, it's not going down. Open rates are only going lower, they're not going higher. Automation is everywhere. You're numb to it, I'm numb to it, and your buyers are numb to it. Personalization is the only thing that cuts through the noise. You need to personalize everything. Okay, I was talking with a client the other day. This is absolutely true. She said, "You know what, Chad? I just want to do the work once and I don't ever want to have to do it again. Can you help me create a coaching program where I can just show up, but I don't have to help every single person every single time? Can you do that?" I was like, "I can do that. And you're going to be broke. If you want to make a lot of money in the coaching industry, in the online world, personalization beats automation every single time. The more personalized you can get in your program and the less automated you can be in your program, the more success you're going to have. And that flies in the face of everything you're ever going to read. Okay? Because we've always been taught that you have to automate to dominate. And what I'm going to tell you is that no longer is true. Everybody's automating, not everybody's dominating. At the end of the day, personalization is where it's at. Customization is where it's at. Personalize it, customize it. Okay? Personalize it, customize it because it's the only thing. So, how do you personalize? I'm going to tell you that real DMs. So, don't send mini chat DMs anymore. Stop it. There's Go High Level. I love Go High Level. It's a great platform, and they got all this automation stuff. Listen, it's the quickest way to go broke. Okay, if you're selling a $10 product, fine, automate. If you're selling a $25,000 product, don't automate. Real DMs. That means you, not a messenger. You in your DMs having good conversations with people. Well, Shannon, you know what? My time is more valuable than that. I can just hire somebody, from the Philippines to do. Yes, you can. You can. And there are AI agencies out there that you can hire that will do automation and messaging and all that stuff for you. You can automate it through AI. You can automate it through MiniChat. You can automate it. And what's going to happen is you're going to see your Facebook account shut down. You're going to see your Instagram account shut down. You're going to see your TikTok account shut down. You're going to see your quality of lead go way down. You're going to see your quality of buyer go way down. okay? And you're going to see your headaches increase. Whereas if you would just take some time as the authority and you would show up authentically and you would have conversations with people and you would train yourself how to spot a tire quicker, how to spot a tire kicker quickly and have something to do with them and have good, genuine conversations, you will move people to the top very, very quickly. So it means real DMs. It means behavior based emails. That means no more spam emails to every single person on your list. You're going to send emails to people based upon their behavior. Okay, based upon their behavior. Okay, that means that if somebody opt-ins for your lead magnet, okay, and you send this spam, this generic 5-day thing, what I'm telling you is your open rate is going to be low, your reply rate is going to be low, your click-through rate is going to be low, everything's going to be low. So what I like to do, something I'm teaching now, is doing it differently. Create ways, okay? Create ways to personalize your emails. Hey John, I noticed you opted in for XYZ, okay? Just so you know this isn't an automated email, I noticed on your Facebook that you like musicals. My favorite is Hamilton. What's yours? Boom, I've now engaged them. I've now engaged them. In a few episodes from now, I'm going to be teaching you my Rev method, and that engagement is where it's at. Okay, I had a guy the other day. Okay, I probably get 10 to 12 spam messages a day. It's a lot less than some of you, but I get about 10 to 12 spam DMs a day. Most of my DMs are, "Hey Chad, what would you do with another 100 leads per day?" "Hey Chad, did you know that social media is where it's at? Me and my agency would like to do XYZ." The other day I get one though that I actually opened. You know what it was? This guy went on to my website, mycabucoaching.com, went onto my website and said, "Hey, Chad, I went through your entire website and I did a full blown marketing audit for you. What things that I think you're doing right, things that I think could use a little improvement, and things that you can do on your own that would make it better, and things that we could do for you quickly that make it better." And he took about 10 to 12 minutes and did a full blown audit on Loom of my web. He didn't know me from Adam. And he brought up some really good points and really good stuff for me. And you know what I did? I replied to him. I scheduled an appointment. I didn't purchase from him, but I scheduled an appointment from him, and I'm thinking about hiring his agency. Okay, I'm thinking about it because he brought up some really good points. And he's not cheap, and he did things right. Okay, he did things right. Okay, in this era, he avoided the automation, he avoided the noise, and he came in and he did things right. He trust is a new currency, and he built trust with me because he went to my site and he did a personalized audit of my site. Pressure over promotion. Okay, Chad. Obviously, you can tell how much time this takes. I don't have that much time. I've got space for 4. I've sold 2. Would you like to be one of my next 2? I loved it. Okay. Premiere first, downsell later. Okay. He pitched me to his $2,500 a month product out of the gate. He didn't give me this $29 AI thing. He pitched me premium out of the gate. And then he personalized it because he knows that personalization beats automation. And that's rule number 4. Okay. Real DMs, behavior based emails, human driven interactions. I promise you that it will work. Okay. If you are a fitness coach, okay, if you're a fitness coach, why don't you do this? Why don't you go in and say, "Hey, I don't have a lot of time, but I got 5 minutes that I got 5 minutes I can spare. Will you get on a call with me for 5 minutes? I'm not going to sell you anything, but here's the 6 questions I'm going to ask you. Okay, so I want you to be prepared for these 6 questions. We're going to get on a call. You're going to answer those 6 questions. I'm going to take that information from you, and I'm going to build you a customized what? A customized nutrition plan, a customized fitness plan, a customized whatever. I'm going to build this and give it to you absolutely free. Okay, you know what's going to happen to your sales? They're going to skyrocket. They're going to skyrocket because people are getting on with you. You're with you. And Chad, I don't have time for that. Oh my gosh. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have plenty of time because your conversions are going to go from like 1 to 20 to like 1 to 2. Okay? Your profit margin, your product sales is going to go from $500 to $1,000 to $2,500 to $3,000. Yes, you do. Spend some time. Personalized. I promise you, it's the best way to build wealth in a post-COVID, in a post-AI era. Okay, automation is for the system, personalization is for the sale. Okay, automation is for a system, personalization is for a sale. Okay, so write this down. People don't respond to processes, they respond to being seen. And nothing will say that you've been seen more than that. Okay, so let's move on to rule number 5. Okay, rule number 5. Now, micro movement is the new big. Okay, micro movement is the new big. Now, what do I mean by that? At the end of the day, marketing is still about building a movement. Okay, it's still about building a movement. Okay, at the end of the day. Okay, people don't want to be part of a mass launch anymore. They just don't. Okay. People don't want to be part of a mass launch anymore. Okay. And if they do, chances are it's not going to be led by you. Okay. What people want is they want to be part of something small, something fast, something meaningful. I was watching this church guy the other day. He's a church coach. And he was talking about how mega churches, um, although useful in our society, have a very low approval rating. I think it's funny that we have approval ratings for churches, but he did. But small churches that are up and coming, like church plants, things like that, um, or smaller churches that put a big emphasis on kids or on youth, okay, their approval rating is massively high. And there's this trend that's beginning to creep into the world where people are beginning to stop going to, or people no longer are seeking out the mega church. Now they're seeking out more medium-sized to smaller churches. And the reason is because in this post-COVID, in this post-AI era, people want to be part of something small, fast, and meaningful. Okay, they do. And micro movements win because they deliver speed, they deliver status, they deliver significance. Okay. And so I remember um, back in 2019 when my business was at its peak. Okay. We sold 68 $25,000 coaching programs in 90 days. Okay. In 90 days. And we were small, we were fast, we were significant, things were happening, things were moving. And then I made a mistake where I tried to scale too quickly. And even though the money was there, things began to crumble. Okay. Because the infrastructure wasn't there. I thought system wasn't there. I thought, and I just thought, okay, if I could just get my systems right, if I could just hire more people, if I could just, get everything right, then good things were going to happen. And what I learned was that wasn't the case. And as I've gone back over the last couple of years and talked with some of my former clients, one of the things they said, Chad, the reason why we got out of Cabu had nothing to do with you, had nothing to do with your content. We loved all of it. But you used to have this small, significant group that we could rub shoulders with and we could learn from, we could do life with, and we loved it. And you underestimated the power of your micro movement, of your community. You underestimated it. And you try to be like everybody else. And God, that hit me so strong. And now, as I'm going back and I'm studying some guys, what I'm learning is that the people who are successful, they're bringing back the micro movement. These small communities, okay, these small communities where these people can be part of something meaningful. Okay, there's a platform out there called School. Okay, and School is really good. It's led by Alex Ramosi and it's led by Sam Ovens. And what these guys are doing is they're putting a big emphasis on these small groups, okay, micro movements. And what they know is if you're going to grow large, you have to grow large by growing smaller. And this is what you have to do. If you're a coach and you're trying to make money, you need to create a micro movement, a small movement. Okay. So you need to have things like founder rounds. You need to have things like beta groups. You need to have things like VIP accelerators. You need to stop waiting for a large audience and you need to move with the people that you have. Okay. Because movements don't start because there's a crowd. Movements start because they're clarity. So what you have to do is you have to become You have to know something, become known for something, have a cause that you're teaching and that you're training on, and build a movement around that cause. Small movements is the new big. That's where it is. Okay. And what we know is that you'd rather have 10 people in your tribe that know you, like you, trust you, follow you, and will pay you large sums of money, then you would rather have 1,000 people who are skeptical, only want to take from you, and who only want to give you low dollars. Micro movement is the new big. Okay, so here's what you have to know, and I'm gonna let me recap these. Okay, rule number one is trust is the currency. Okay, trust is the currency. You have to build trust. If your best offer doesn't show up first, excuse me, um, let me get the right sheet here. There we go. Trust isn't a feature of your business, it's the foundation of your business. If you skip it, everything else will crack. Rule number two, pressure over promotion. Okay, pressure over promotion. Smart launches don't ask for attention, they command it through momentum. Okay, rule number three, premium first, downsell later. Premium first, downsell later. If your best offer doesn't show up first, your best buyers won't either. Rule number four, personalization beats automation. People don't respond to processes, they respond to being seen. And rule number five, and this is a big one, micro movements is the new big. Micro movement is the new big because movements don't start because there's a crowd. Movements start because there's clarity. So the rules didn't change. I guess I should restate that. Yes, they did change, but they didn't get harder. They got smarter, they got sharper. Trust, pressure, premium, personalization, micro movements. You got to learn them, you got to build them, you got to lead with them, or you're going to have to spend the next 5 years doing something new or something different because what you're doing isn't going to work. Anyway, I hope this podcast episode was helpful for you. On our next podcast, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing you to a brand new piece of AI software that's out on the market. I have just learned it, and I can build a funnel in a matter of seconds. It's really crazy, and these funnels are fantastic. But once again, like any piece of AI, it'll do the job if you tell it, but it won't do the job right unless you tell it how to do it right. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you on, training you on the next episode of Marketing 911. As always, if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. We have got some really cool things coming up. You may not know this, but in Belize, I have family who lives there. We own several restaurants, coffee shop, yoga studio, and we also have a home there that my sister has just remodeled. It is gorgeous, right on a small little island of Key Caulker in Belize. And she has offered me her home for a fee, of course, but she's offered me her home where I can invite people like you to come spend 5 days in Belize with me, and we will take care of everything, and we will do a 5-day intensive, just you and me. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through these rules, and we're going to help you learn how to build trust, because as you know, trust is everything. Okay, we're going to show you how to build a pressure launch, not just show you how, we're going to build it together. Okay, we're going to show you how to create a high ticket offer, a premium offer. Okay, and we're going to show you how to do personalization over automation, and we're going to show you how to build your very own micro movement. We're going to be doing it for 5 days in the country of Belize. Now, Belize isn't far. For those of you who don't know, it's just south of Mexico. It's about a 2-hour, 2.5-hour flight from Dallas, a 2-hour flight from Houston. It's an hour flight from Miami. If you got a direct flight from Phoenix, it's a 3.5-hour flight. It's a 4-hour flight from LA. It's not far at all. And we're going to get you to Belize on this gorgeous island right in the middle of the Caribbean. And we're going to take care of everything. It's a 5-day event. I'm going to tell you the price and everything right up front. It's a 5-day event, okay, with me and you. And we cover everything. We cover your airfare, we cover your lodging, we cover your food, we cover some of your excursions, and we cover all of your coaching. It's a 5-day event. It's when this goes live, it's going to be a $10,000 coaching package. Now, that's really good because John and I have a $12,500 yellow brick road where you come spend a day with us for it, and we do all this for you in an intensive in a day here in Phoenix, and it costs you 12.5, and we don't cover your flight and we don't cover your hotel. And dozens of people have taken us up on that offer. This one here, you're going to get all 5 days in Belize, plus your flight, plus your hotel covered, and all your food. Okay. Well, I say all your food. You're going to get your breakfast and lunch covered at our restaurants. We'll cover that for you, and we're going to build out your entire launch process. You and me together. You're going to stay at our home, and I'm going to be working with you for 5 days. We're going to get to see this beautiful island. We're going to do some fun stuff together, and we're going to cover everything. And when this goes live, it's going to be $10,000. Okay, but remember, pressure is promotion. Okay, the house sleeps three people. That's all. That's all it sleeps. Okay, it sleeps three people. Okay, and these are private rooms, and you got it's it's a nice area right in the middle of the Caribbean. It sleeps three people. So for three people and three people only, we're not going to charge you 10,000. We're going to cut that price in half down to $5,000. We're going to cover your flight. We're going to cover your lodging. We're going to cover your food, and it includes all your coaching. And we're going to build out your entire launch for three people only. Is all we're going to do it. We're going to cover that. We're going to do it for half price for $5,000. If you would like to be one of those three people, you need to let me know. We have two possibilities of doing it. We're going to be doing this sooner than later. Okay. Right now, I have an opening excuse me, I got the date wrong. From the 12th, from the 13th through, I'm sorry, from the 12th through let me look at my calendar before I mess this up. Forgive me. I had the date right, then we had to change it because I got to be in Seattle on the 16th. So I have to be in Seattle on the 16th of May. So that date is okay. So it's going to be from the 11th through the 16th. The 11th through the 16th. Okay. So you can fly in on the 10th. We'll get to work on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Okay, we're going to spend those 5 days together, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're going to spend those 5 days together. You can come in on the 10th. You can leave as late as the 17th. So you can have a free place to stay for up to 7 days. Okay, and it's awesome. You'll fly into Belize City. BZE is the airport code. You'll fly into Belize City, and you'll fly out of Belize City. Okay, you'll take a water taxi over and back, or if you want to spend a little bit of money, you can take the little flight. Over there, it's $100. Okay, if you want to take the flight there, we'll cover your plane for one way if you want to do that, or we'll cover your water taxi round trip depending on how you want to do that. I think the most expensive they are is $90. Those little 10-minute flights, they're $90 from Belize to the island, or it's a 40-minute boat ride, which I think is $15. It's not much. So we'll cover your flight one way, or we'll cover your water taxi round trip. That's the 11th through the 15th of May. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's coming up just in about 3 weeks. Okay, we'll cover everything: your flight, hotel, food, and all your coaching for those 5 days for three of you only. It's a VIP week in the Caribbean. If you want to know a little bit more about this, you can go to Secret Island Mastermind. That's secretislandmastermind.com. Now, we're not doing all of that because that's more designed for a large group. Okay, but secretislandmastermind.com, if you want to learn a little bit about the island and all that good stuff, you can go there and find that out. It's the 11th through the 15th. You need to send me a DM. Do not buy on the website. You got to send me a DM. Okay, it's gonna be $5,000. What I'll do is I'll shoot you an invoice. You'll pay the invoice. As soon as you pay the invoice, I'll buy your plane ticket and get you all set up. We'll create your personalized. Remember, this is personal. We'll create your personalized itinerary, and we'll get you to Belize on May 11th through the 15th. If you can't do May 11th through the 15th, we have the same trip coming up on June 8th through the 12th. June 8th through the 12th. Okay, if you want those dates. If you're like, okay, Chad, that's great. I would prefer a weekend. We do have a weekend coming up. It will be July 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay, July 24th through the 28th is the third one. Okay, once again, three people is all I can take. The first one, it's half off. The first one is half off, $5,000. The second one will give you 25% off. It's $7,500. The third one is the full rate, $10,000. Let me give you those dates again, just in case you miss it. Once again, we only three. That's all we can take. Why three? Because that's how many beds I got. Okay. At my home. If you want to pay for your own hotel and stuff like that, no, 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 never mind. We're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let you do. You can pay for your own hotel if you want, but I'm not gonna take more than 3. We're only gonna do 3. Okay, so those days, if you want to come to the first one, which is only it's half off. It's only 5,000 bucks. I pay for your flight. I pay for your hotel. I pay for your food. I pay for the coaching. May 11th through the 15th. Okay, in Key Calker, 5 grand. The second one is in June, and those dates are the 8th through the 12th. And then the third one, it's over a weekend. It's in July. And that weekend is the 24th, 25, 26, 27, and 28, 24th to 28th. If you want to be one of those 3 people, let me know. Anyway, I hope this training was good for you. Super exciting for me to do it. These are long form, in depth trainings that I do for you. They're a lot different than some of the courses and stuff that I have, but we got lots of information. This Marketing 911 podcast is designed for people just like you who want to go deep in their launch, in their leadership, and in their life. I'm Chad Thibodeaux. We'll see you next time on Marketing 911.